LastPass keeps one promise: hold your passwords so no one else can. In 2022, an attacker walked out with the backup copy of every customer vault the company held. Not a broken login page, not a guest password, a quieter, patient path through a laptop, then a home computer, then the cloud itself. This is that path, told the way the company eventually admitted it. Between August 8th and August 12th, 2022, someone broke into a LastPass software engineer's corporate laptop. From there, they reached the company's cloud development environment. For days of access, investigators later said. Then, LastPass told the world the intrusion was contained. That word, contained, would not hold for long. Investigators said the intruder copied portions of source code and internal technical documents, 14 of the company's roughly 200 code repositories. Internal scripts, digital certificates, configuration secrets, the backstage material that teaches an outsider how a company's systems actually fit together and who inside it holds the most valuable access. The early message to customers was reassuring. No vault data had been touched. On August 25th, LastPass told customers about the break-in. A development environment incident, the post said. Limited. Contained. Nothing about vaults, backups, or customers. Case closed, the message implied. The company had not yet found the second door because the attacker had not opened it yet. Here is what a password manager actually promises. Your vault locks with a key only you hold, your master password. LastPass calls this zero knowledge. Even the company itself should not be able to open your vault. That is the entire pitch, the reason millions trust it with every login they own. But a locked box still needs somewhere to live. LastPass kept encrypted backups of every customer vault in cloud storage, protected by keys that a small number of its own engineers controlled. Here's the first turn. LastPass said the August breach was contained. The real question sat underneath that word. What did the stolen source code teach the attacker about getting back in, through a different door? For weeks, nothing public happened. Behind the scenes, investigators believe the attacker was reading, studying internal tools and documentation, learning which engineers held the real keys to the cloud storage where those vault backups lived. LastPass stored customer vault backups in Amazon's cloud. Only a small circle of senior DevOps engineers held the decryption keys to open them. For people, company records showed. For laptops, for home networks, the attacker did not need all four. He only needed one. That one engineer worked from home, like almost everyone else by then. On his personal computer sat outdated third-party media software, the kind of app millions of people install once and forget to update. Bleeping Computer and other outlets later identified that software as Plex. The attacker used a known, unpatched flaw in that software to get in quietly. Through it, malware was planted, built to watch, not to break anything. Trace the chain from the beginning. A developer's laptop, breached. Source code and internal documents, stolen. A senior DevOps engineer, targeted using what that code revealed. A keylogger, planted through outdated home software. And finally, the keys to every vault backup LastPass had ever stored. Here is the twist that should worry security teams. The engineer had multi-factor authentication turned on, MFA. The keylogger did not need to defeat that code. It only needed patience. It waited for him to type his actual master password, the one MFA had already waved through, and recorded every keystroke. Second turn. For roughly 2 months, that stolen access looked identical to normal administrative work. Valid credentials. A real engineer's session. Nothing an automated system was built to flag as strange, because on paper, nothing about it was. The break came from Amazon's own alerting system, GuardDuty, flagging an attempt to misuse a cloud identity role. LastPass brought in outside forensic investigators, Mandiant, to trace where that alert actually led. The trail ran back to August 12th, the same week as the first, supposedly contained, breach. The intrusion had never actually stopped. On December 22, 2022, LastPass told customers what August had really cost them. Not just source code, backup copies of customer vaults, pulled from cloud storage during that same window months earlier, and sitting in an attacker's hands ever since. Sensitive fields inside those backups, passwords, secure notes, stayed encrypted behind each customer's own master password, wrapped in strong AES-256 encryption. But the storage format itself left some data exposed. Website URLs, and in some cases paths and email use, sitting in plain text, right beside the fields that were locked. A map of where you log in, even without the keys. The attacker also grabbed a backup of LastPass's MFA and Federation database. Authenticator seeds, the codes that generate your 6-digit login numbers. Backup phone numbers, for customers who had added one. A shared cryptographic piece called K2, used for enterprise single sign-on across whole companies. That database was encrypted too, but the decryption key had been stolen right along with it, in the very same cloud storage sweep. For customers, none of this stayed theoretical. Master passwords were never stored by LastPass and were not sitting in the stolen files. That part of the design held. But a weak master password, chosen years earlier and never changed, was suddenly worth cracking offline, at the attacker's own pace, on the attacker's own hardware, with no lockout screen anywhere to stop them. For some customers, that meant quietly resetting every account tied to that vault. LastPass's CEO, Kareem Tuba, later put a number on who was exposed: millions of individual users. More than 100,000 businesses, he said, relying on those vaults every day to run their own logins. Third turn. Nobody has ever publicly claimed responsibility for this. There was no ransom note, no leak site countdown, none of the usual theater. LastPass said, as of its last update, it saw no credible sign the stolen data was being sold on criminal markets. No named actor, just a case file that stayed open. The CEO later admitted something else, in his own words. LastPass's communication had failed customers. Early messaging said no vault data was touched. That sentence was true, technically, for about 4 months, until it quietly stopped being true. If you use LastPass or any password manager, the checklist is straightforward. Change a master password you set years ago and never touched again. Make it long. Length beats cleverness against offline cracking. Turn on every extra verification step it offers. Watch for login prompts on old accounts you had forgotten you owned. For companies, the lesson sits above the cryptography brochure. Concentrate your decryption keys in 4 people, and 4 home computers quietly become your real perimeter. Multi-factor authentication is necessary. Alone, it is not enough, not when a keylogger can simply wait behind it. A password manager's promise is only as strong as the personal laptop one DevOps engineer happens to be using that night. Open questions remain on this case. How weak were the master password settings protecting older accounts at the time of the theft? Nobody has published a verified count of vaults cracked open since. The file, by the company's own account, stays open. This was never only a password story. It was a supply chain of trust, one laptop, to stolen source code, to one engineer's home network, to every vault backup LastPass ever held. Sources: LastPass's own security disclosures and reporting from Bleeping Computer and Cybersecurity Dive. Full links are in the description below. Which corporate failure should we open the file on next? Corporate breach. Case closed for now.